Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another week of the GZ Chop Shop podcast. I'm gonna just start off this with a disclaimer. I'm probably gonna piss off a lot of listeners today. I'm probably gonna piss off a lot of gamers. I'm gonna probably piss off a lot of developers. I'm probably gonna piss off a lot of developer fans. So just be warned. This is your warning. If you're easily triggered, easily offended, if you're part of the console wars or you're part of the developer wars, whatever,
Whatever stupid shit.
whatever that stupid stuff is going on right now, this is your only warning. All right. Now, before we dive into the meat and potatoes of what this episode is actually about, all I want to say is, Warners, we were right about the direction of Diablo. I'm not going to dive into it.
Oh, no, we were right. People were getting pretty upset with us, and I understand why from their perspective of not knowing what they're talking about, but we've been doing this for a long time. We don't, we absolutely don't come on here and just attempt to talk out of our ass. We know this stuff. We understand the gaming entertainment industry. And a lot of people were a little upset about the things we said about Diablo 4. And we're both fans of the genre. We're both fans of at least what Blizzard used to be. And there were a lot of people telling us that we had, I think one was cringe-worthy predictions.
Yeah. All for over the next fortune telling.
Yeah, fortune telling. All for the next few weeks for every single thing we said to come true. Yep. So go ahead, man. Go ahead before I get.
Yeah. So just want to put out there. Yeah, check out the previous episode. Don't play Diablo 4, and you'll see what we're talking about. And then just read all the current articles on what's going on with Diablo and everyone's current plummeting interest in the game, and you'll see what we're talking about. Now, what we're really going to be talking about this week is Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 released for PC this month. It's officially out. And it is straight up a phenomenal game. You and I got to play it, and we were having the time of our life in that game. It is a content-packed game, and a lot of people are saying it is game of the year, hands down. This game is just amazing. And I wanted to, before we did this episode, I wanted to make sure that at least one of us had played the game. It was better that both of us got to play the game, so we actually got hands-on, got to experience it for ourselves, see what people were talking about before we did this episode. Because as you said earlier, we don't just talk out of our ass. We wanted to have some hands-on experience for ourselves. And I think I can say we both had a great experience with the game, and we see what everyone was talking about.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty fun. Little learning curve, learning where everything is, but what game doesn't, right?
Yeah.
I can definitely see how it's more geared for PC. I'm curious how it will translate to console. But you can use quite a bit of your keyboard there to for hotkeys and stuff.
Yeah.
And there's some little minor things I think the camera angle kind of sucks sometimes.
Yeah.
But overall, outside little things, it was a very enjoyable game. Obviously, we didn't beat the game, right? It just came out.
No.
But for what we did, I think we played a little campaign together and did that for a few hours, and it was pretty fun. We had quite a few laughs too.
Yeah, and I went and I started reading, and Yuli, we were all talking about it in our Discord chat, and it seems I'm gonna call a spade a spade. It seems like developers feel threatened by Baldur's Gate 3's success. Just legitimately threatened. And they're going out here and basically telling gamers, this is an anomaly. Don't expect this to be the standard. And it all started with a tweet from Strange Scaffold developer, which is it's like a private indie company. It's not even public. Head Zalavier Nelson Jr., which basically, and it kind of makes me scary to step into the developer realm. And I know a lot of people, just to calm down. I know some people go, well, why don't you try to develop a game? Actually, we're in the midst of that, and we understand the process, and we understand that it's not easy and that it's difficult. So it is something we are experimenting with and working in. And what we're not doing is blatantly advertising it before we feel comfortable with it, you know, so that people don't have expectations because you don't know what we're doing. But instead of just congratulating Larian Studios on their success, like, great job, awesome game, you've got these developers that are basically trying to downplay it. And, you know, this guy goes on and he lists all these things. He's listing that, oh, well, it was a long development cycle that started back in 2017. I'm sorry. How many games have been in development hell for like over a decade? And we still welcome it with open arms when it finally releases. Development hell is nothing new to the gaming industry. And then it goes and says, well, 2 previous games, Divinity Original Sin, which is Larian Studios' game, and Original Sin 2, which is Larian Studios' game, worth of tech and institutional knowledge to draw from. You mean their own game? You're upset that they expanded and drew from their own games that they made. Successful early access. This one was really stupid to me. Successful early access period lasting 3 years that provided Larian with community feedback, bug hunting, and cash flow. No shit. That was the point of early access.
That's the point of early access and beta, to listen, to actually actively listen to the feedback, even if the feedback sucks, and you listen to it, so that your end product is what everybody would like it to be. You want the game to do well. You want everyone to enjoy the product before they go and spend $60, $70 on a game.
I mean, if we
really, it's not hard.
If we really want to shit on a game for having early access, successful early access, go cry about Star Citizen. They've been in early access since like 2012. There's so many games that are in early access. I'm like, but Larian Studios did a minimum of a 3-year early access, listened to the community because they wanted the community to enjoy the game, enjoy the experience. So they actually listened, took the feedback to heart, and crafted a beautifully rendered, beautifully story-driven game that we wanted to play.
With how many endings? How many endings are there?
Over 170,000 endings.
That is insanely wild.
And I didn't say anything while we were playing Baldur's Gate because we were like in in-game roleplay mode. But from the moment I played with my character and entering your world, there have already been differences in the dialogue of the characters that I didn't say anything about, that is completely different in the campaign we're doing than the campaign I'm doing, while following almost the exact same path. The dialogue has been entirely different. So even though I've seen these things before, how characters have reacted to us, how things have been executed has been entirely different with one change, one direction. We went 2 degrees east instead of 2 degrees west, and things were completely different. So it was like, no matter how many ways I play this campaign, listening to the dialogue has always paid off, because, you know, the characters react to your race or your, you know, your standing or whatever. It's so well thought out.
Yeah, I don't think it would be a very good like, it wouldn't really have the essence of true D&D if every decision you made didn't matter.
Exactly. Now, here was another one, and I'm guessing people just don't do their research and know this. Huge team of over 400 developers across 7 offices. How big is FromSoft Studios?
That maybe about the same or a little smaller, I think.
About the same. That
we looked it up recently. It was comparable to that size, which is small compared to other studios that are complaining about this. Like, say, I don't know, Activision Blizzard.
Oh God! Don't get the fanboys all in.
With 17,000 employees and billions of dollars to back them.
Tons
and they're also saying the same thing and complaining.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they gave us Overwatch 2, which is just Overwatch 1 with new skins.
Yeah. No, you know, the fanboys, they're going to be in a tizzy. But don't worry, we'll come back to that. Don't worry, we'll give you a reason to be upset. But a huge team, if that's the consideration of a huge team, then I'm sorry, I can't really help there. Huge team of over 400 developers. FromSoft has about the same size, and completed Elden Ring and Sekiro, 2 games back to back that got Game of the Year. And guess what happened? Other studios tried to say, especially with Elden Ring, but it didn't get as much traction. So another year in a row, with a game of similar standing that could possibly get Game of the Year, they said the same thing for Elden Ring.
Yeah.
They were all shitting on Elden Ring, talking about it's an anomaly. Don't expect this to be the norm. This is like a one-off. It can't happen again. And the following year, here comes a game like Baldur's Gate. And now gamers are sitting back and we're kind of going like, well, last year you said that was an anomaly.
There's still people complaining about Elden Ring.
Yeah. And now here we are the very next year and you're saying it's another anomaly? You're kind of defeating the purpose of the word anomaly.
And I'll die on this hill. You know, there's Armored Core games out there that are absolutely amazing, and there's ones that we can all agree we don't like. Mm-hmm. And there are Dark Souls games that are amazing, and I think we all agree we didn't really care for Dark Souls 2 quite so much. I didn't anyways. I liked 1 and 3. The point being is whether you like them or you don't like them as much, whatever order they fall in for you, they're all good games. There is no such thing as a game by FromSoft that's just complete hot garbage.
Yeah. Now, the last one, I'll give it a little leeway, but not a lot. I'll give like 2% leeway on this. The license for one of the largest entertainment IPs, Dungeons and Dragons. So you're upset that they have access and expand on one of the greatest board games of all time.
What's a studio that's also on the bashing train right now? I think Insomniac Games, and I think they're into superhero games.
Yeah. So
all of these studios have a sort of they have a little expanse of various games they make, but they all have a particular type that they make. Be it maybe they make a few more first-person shooters than others, or superhero games, but they're all saying, for the most part, the same. Like, they all have the same complaints, but they're not valid complaints at all. None of those complaints make sense. To me, it sounds like somebody going, oh shit, somebody took time and effort to make a game and actually want it to succeed without season passes, without an insane amount of DLCs year after year, which I'm sure we'll get DLCs for this. But there's no microtransactions. There's not a bunch of bullshit. There's a game that's complete. We can play it for the price we paid. And it sounds like all of these studios are upset that they can't do what none of the gaming community really wants to put their foot down and fucking call out, which is the greedy bullshit that all of these studios are getting away with. We're going to sit here and give these studios money, give these companies all this money for their games year after year, turning some of them over the past couple of decades into multi-billion-dollar companies, all for them now to give us microtransactions, games like Overwatch 2 with just the same fucking game, but for a few extra, like you have to pay another $60 and it's really the same game. Diablo 4, which was completely trash. I'm sorry. Like, it started off great. The idea was great. It's a beautiful game, but they shit all over it with all the bullshit and the season passes and you can earn a character and then the character disappears after X amount of time. You just start over. It's all money grabbing bullshit. And everybody who's buying into this shit is the problem. And then we get a game that's replayable and decent. Is it perfect? No, I don't believe every game is perfect. Okay. Every game has bugs and little issues and shit we can complain about, but don't sit there and with a straight face and back up these studios when they're giving us garbage and act like you're okay with it. Asking you for more money after you've already dished out at least $60, $70 just base, not even counting the season passes and the DLCs. Or then they just keep giving you the same regurgitated shit. And then they make these excuses.
And here's the other thing too. And this is me side-eyeing. And for anyone who's wondering, they're like, oh my gosh, why are you guys hating on Activision Blizzard so much? It's not that we're hating. We're literally, if you just do some research, you will see that, what was it? Diablo 4's senior director what chimed in. I mean, there's a lot. There's been a lot of indie developers, and there's been AAA developers. There's been a lot of developers jumping on this bandwagon saying, yeah, this is an anomaly. This shouldn't be the expected norm, blah, 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 blah. But when I saw that, like, you know, anyone from the Diablo team just jumping in on here, I was like, hold up, you're the last group that gets to say anything. And here's the other thing. I'm glad you mentioned price. Baldur's Gate 3 came out at the original price we had about a couple years ago of $60. And we were talking on previous episodes, did the game prices need to go up? And I think in the Discord, we were kind of like back and forth, with inflation and stuff. And it's like, well, we haven't had the game prices jump up in the last decade. And I was like, I don't think game prices needed to go above $60. I think the gaming industry would be fine if games maintained the $60 price tag.
I mean, just the amount of money alone that they save on not having to make near is like everything's digital. So the hard case copies, the packets you get inside, the shipping costs for all those, and the amount it costs to ship that all out internationally and get it on the shelves to sell to people. Like that alone saves them money.
And Baldur's Gate released a fully fleshed out game released at $60. Now, people go, well, it started in development in 2017, so they probably couldn't release it at the full value because it was already okay. Once again, so was Diablo. How long has Diablo 4 been in development? When was it announced? Yet they released it at a $70 price tag with nowhere near as much content as Baldur's Gate. They already are pushing season passes, nerfs, and everyone is literally over the game because there's nothing for them to do. They've maxed out their characters. They're now officially bored. Season 1 has been a complete total failure of a flop, and it's loaded with microtransactions already. And the other thing is, I feel that they have no room to speak on this matter whatsoever, is because, okay, even if you take the list that Nelson put out, Activision Blizzard, you created the world of Diablo.
Yeah, there's really no excuse for a failure at all.
You created it. You mastered it with your first game. We loved it. You perfected it with your second game. And then you decided, let's turn it into a cash cow with the third game. And we hated it. But you didn't take the hint. And we were like, okay, just give us Diablo 4. Your fans told you what they wanted, but you said, no, we want more money. So then you came out with Diablo Immortal to piggyback off the boom of the mobile gaming industry. And one of your fans, to your face, during a conference, asked you, is this a joke? And everyone was behind that dude. Like, this isn't what we asked for. This isn't what we want. Yet you ignored us. Then you finally give us Diablo 4, and it's basically an incomplete game. Because you want to milk it for money, so you're releasing season passes. Now here comes Baldur's Gate that says, we don't need that. Here's our world. Have fun. And now, what I think these developers are worried about is gamers are going to start being able to call them out on their bullshit. Why should I pay you $70 for a game that you're going to turn into 14 DLCs at $30 a price, 15 seasons at whatever X amount of price, and loads of microtransactions, but you still want to charge me $70? What the heck am I paying the $70 for?
It's one of the reasons I stopped playing Destiny 2. I played Destiny 1 the whole time it was out. I liked it. It was pretty fun. It was kind of a fresh concept at the time. There wasn't any games really doing that at the time, and the DLCs were a cool idea at the time, but they didn't really introduce the microtransaction part towards the end of it. And then Destiny 2 came out, and I was like, let's check this out. I'm excited, right? We were all excited. Mm-hmm. But then they started doing that. And then they reset all your progress. They reset like the median level, and you had to fucking start over. You had to fucking grind your gear back up again. And that kept changing everything season after season. Everything you earned didn't matter because it would be undone at some point. Yeah. It turned into exactly what we're talking about now. And I stopped playing. Yeah. The game itself is fun. Unfortunately, every DLC was just regurgitated stories of the same shit, and everything you earned didn't matter.
Yeah.
When you take away players' ability, that feeling you get when you actually earn something in a game, and then you take it away by resetting it, and removing it, and every X amount of seasons or every season or each DLC, you're trying to get players to be addicted to the feeling of success by earning things and hoping they'll keep coming back to re-earn them so that they give you more money. Instead of letting them keep that feeling of things are a little tougher, they earn the things in the game, we don't reset it, and then if you play long enough, you get some friends, or you're just really good at the game, you earn these things, you get to keep them. They reset them. They're just playing off everyone's addiction of feeling accomplished and successful, and then they reset it, and then they ask you for more money, and then we all fall for it. And I know I'm not the only one that got tired of it, and Destiny 2 was a big one, a big eye opener for me. That's why I stopped playing, and it was unfortunate because I was hopeful for a long time, which was why I was buying the DLCs at the beginning. The first year and a half, I was buying the DLCs, and then I was like,
for some reason, you subconsciously hope it'll stop at some point.
Yeah,
and
no one wants. The only game that got away with going on as long as it had was World of Warcraft. And I loved World of Warcraft for the longest time, and I will not deny their storytelling ability. But ever since back several years ago, and I think a lot of maybe more old school WoW players would agree with me, ever since they had introduced the kind of pay to play attitude with that shit, the gameplay itself just changed. The culture of the game changed. It became less fun. The things you earned stopped mattering as much. And when you do things like that, you don't only water down your own hard work and reputation as a developer in a studio, but you're just taking advantage of people. You're watering down the players. And we've been saying it for a long time that it's going to shoot these studios, that they're going to shoot themselves in the foot with this shit. And it doesn't matter if you're into Xbox or PlayStation or whatever, like fuck all the console shit and PC shit. Stop, no matter who it is, stop letting these studios take advantage of you.
Yeah.
Put your foot down and stop buying their crap when they're just taking advantage of you.
Yeah.
And enough is enough.
Because I promise you, if Baldur Gate released under the same, I guess, template a lot of devs follow, there'd have been no complaints. It's basically like when you find that person who doesn't play ball, so instead you bully them. And the thing is, everyone who chimed in on Third, they're like, they kind of backhandedly compliment Larian Studios. It's like backhanded compliments. Like Obsidian Entertainment designer Josh Sawyer noted that having the foundation set and the funding to build the funding thing always gets me. Having the funding to build things on your own terms is invaluable. This is not about downplaying talented people working at BG3, but about acknowledging this case is atypical for the games industry. Now, there's only one thing he said that I can partially agree with, and it is being able to build things on your terms is invaluable. That line I will agree with, because we do know and we do acknowledge that shareholders have way too much involvement in the gaming industry and how games come out. They have way too much, because all they want is their money by any means necessary. Even when games flop, they make their money. So we do know that shareholders honestly just need to just stay out of it. Like, you're investing in it so that these developers can create games that we, the gamers, the consumers, will enjoy. And when we enjoy it, we recommend it to friends, and our friends and stuff go buy it. And since everything is digital and locked to your license, it's not like I can share my games anymore. So more likely my friend's going to have to go buy that game anyway, especially since we're heading into a digital era. But they're like, a lot of them, like you said, they're all saying the same thing. Well, they had the license, they had this great foundation. Who's stopping you from doing what they're doing and expanding? They do board games. They're expanding on board games. You're upset at them for using the resources that they created to make something phenomenal when you literally have the same, if not more, resources available to you to do the exact same thing. You guys spend so much time and money on these trailers of games you can't even deliver on.
Well, and it's not even a great excuse anyways, because most of these studios saying this shit have been around for decades. They've been making games. They have stories to tell. It's completely on them if they're incapable of doing what's best for the gaming community and their consumer and refusing to put in the effort and not be greedy.
Yeah.
And then when their games flop, they're like, oh, we don't know. And then again, Diablo 4 is a great example. People were like, what the hell? And then they 100% did not care.
Yeah. I think personally, we should hold this as the new standard for at least MMORPGs. I think we should hold it as the new standard. I think gamers should not accept anything less for a while. Make them sweat.
Yeah, we should not accept anything less than a game that when we buy it, the game is complete. It's ready to go. There is no need to be greedy with all these additional add-ons and transactions and season passes. And honestly, I would not have a problem at all with season passes and DLCs. There's a handful of studios out there that when they put out DLCs, it truly is a DLC. It's like what we used to call expansions. That's what DLCs used to be. It was an expansion pack. When you used to go out and you bought the next expansion for World of Warcraft way back in the day, it was amazing. It was truly an expansion of the game. And then that was it. It was like you bought another game that connected to yours and it just added to the game. There wasn't all this extra bullshit that you had to pay for. And it wasn't an unfinished story.
Do you remember back in the day as well, expansion passes, especially on console, the term actually lived up to it, that you bought it and you were covered for a year. Whatever DLC came out for that game, you were covered for like a year.
Yeah.
So when you bought this expansion pack, I think Destiny was probably like one of the last ones before they changed. When you bought their expansion, you were covered whatever the 2-3 DLCs.
I remember that in Destiny 1, and maybe they did it in Destiny 2, at least at the beginning, but I don't remember that.
Destiny 1, I remember because it was House of Wolves and it was it was 2 DLCs, and you paid one price, and it was like, I think it was like not even like $30. I think it was like $24, and you got both DLCs. You were covered. You were good. And way back in the early days, a lot of games did that where like it was like a year pass, and anything that came out, characters, DLC, whatever, you were covered. You bought that one pass and you were covered. And then suddenly they started saying, well, wow, no, then once again, I think this was the shareholders. They went and said, well, no, why are we giving them all this stuff on a one thing when we can set it down to seasons, set it down like 2 months, set it down to per DLC. Now it's per DLC. A new DLC drops, you got to pay for that DLC. A new season, that season. Like, they're not expansions. You have to pay for everything individually. And for Diablo, if we crunch your numbers right now, really quick, you spent $70 for the base game of Diablo. You finished Diablo. A lot of people were done in like the first 2 weeks of Diablo. You finished Diablo 4. Now you're paying for the season pass, which is no less than $10. So now you're spending, what is it? You're pushing almost $90 on that game. Let's say you went and bought any of the stuff in the marketplace. You actually bought the gems to get the currency, to get the gems, to get the in-game stuff. You're looking at $120 for a nearly incomplete game, when now you could go get Baldur's Gate 3, not buy anything extra, and it's all under $60. Full game that you can play literally 170,000 times.
And I know, just like the DLCs, I wouldn't have a problem with season passes. And some games do this. But for the most part, a season pass, you don't get to keep a lot of the things you earn. And there's just resets, which a reset is understandable when you're talking about like PvP and competitive. But when you're resetting the entire game, resetting all your shit, and then you don't even get to keep most of the stuff that you earn, that's where I see the problem.
Yeah. But this is it's a very interesting thing, but unfortunately, that's all the time we've got for this episode. For one of the few times I actually was fed up and needed to pop off on something. But let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're listening to this on your favorite podcast platform, visit our website, osntachmedia.com, and leave us your thoughts on the show's page. We'd love to hear from you guys. Do you think Baldur's Gate 3 is an anomaly? Do you think these developers are right and it should not be the new standard? Or do you agree with some of what we said and feel like, no, this should be a new standard? We're tired of being, told that we got to shell out more and more money after purchasing a game for extra content. But anyway, let us know your thoughts. We'd love to hear from you guys. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave your comments down below. Anyway, you guys have been amazing. Take care of yourself and each other, and we'll catch all of you wonderful people on the next podcast. Later.